At Your Command by Neville Goddard holds a very special place among his works and in the realm of manifestation. It is the very first book he wrote in 1939, and it essentially began his teachings. The book presents Neville's teachings in a clear and accessible manner. It delves into the power of consciousness, imagination, and faith in manifesting our desires, making these profound concepts understandable and applicable to readers. Now, Neville emphasizes the role of consciousness as the creative power behind manifestation. He teaches readers how to become aware of their true nature as conscious beings and how to use this awareness to shape their reality consciously. One of the unique aspects of At Your Command is Neville's interpretation of biblical passages and stories from a metaphysical perspective. In fact, it may be in a way that you had never even considered before. The first time I heard this, my mind was blown, but it made so much sense. He presents the Bible not as a literal historical account, but as a symbolic and psychological guide to understanding human consciousness and its creative abilities. The book also provides practical techniques and exercises for you to apply. Neville offers actionable steps for manifesting desires effectively. This book basically empowers readers by emphasizing their creative power and ability to shape their destinies. So let's do an analysis of part 1 of his book. I will be following up with each part until we have completed the series. I will also list a link below if you are eager to read the whole thing. You can, in fact, read the book in its entirety. It is in the public domain. But before we begin, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to manifest the life of your dreams. And do head over to dreamlifebyveronica.com to do some one-on-one coaching with me. I do still have my 10-minute bonus coaching call offer available, and I would be honored to help guide your way and help you reach your dreams. Okay, so let's begin. In the words of Neville, this book contains the very essence of the principle of expression. Had I cared to, I could have expanded it into a book of several hundred pages, but such expansion would have defeated the purpose of this book. Now I'm going to stop already because I find this so interesting. Because in his day, he didn't have terms like manifestation, law of attraction. He didn't even use the term law of assumption, which you usually see associated with his teachings in this day and age. In fact, it pops up everywhere on Neville videos, everywhere. It's all law of assumption. But ironically, he actually referred to it as the principle of expression. And what this means, according to Neville, is basically he was referring to the idea of manifestation. Call it what you will, that is what he was calling it. This idea that consciousness creates reality. So basically, he was reinforcing that consciousness is the creative force behind everything we experience. Our thoughts and beliefs shape our perception of reality. And when we impress certain ideas or images onto our subconscious mind, they eventually manifest in our external world. Okay, so let's continue on. He went on to say, commands, to be effective, must be short and to the point. The greatest command ever recorded is found in the few simple words, "And God said, let there be light." Now, in this paragraph, Neville is suggesting that commands or statements of intent are most effective when they are clear, specific, straightforward. So by using this type of concise language, it will better convey the desired outcome as we focus our consciousness and energy more effectively towards manifesting it. We manifest things through a shift in consciousness. He continues on to say, in keeping with this principle, I now give to you, the reader, in these few pages, the truth as it was revealed to me. Neville. I love how he said the truth was revealed to him. And I believe he was referring to his higher self or source, and that he had tapped into this divine knowledge, and we are so lucky to receive it. But the interesting thing is that this knowledge is actually contained in every single one of us already. We're born with it. We just have forgotten it. So such a book like this helps to unveil it and reinforce its truth, because these are things we already know. We're just remembering them. Okay, so let's begin. Can a man decree a thing and have it come to pass? Most decidedly he can. Man has always decreed that which has appeared in his world, and is today decreeing that which is appearing in his world, and shall continue to do so as long as man is conscious of being man. Not one thing has ever appeared in man's world but what man decreed that it should. This you may deny, but try as you will, you cannot disprove it. For this decreeing is based upon a changeless principle. You do not command things to appear by your words or loud affirmations. Such vain repetition is more often than not confirmation of the opposite. Decreeing is ever done in consciousness. That is, every man is conscious of being that which he has decreed himself to be. The dumb man, without using words, is also conscious of being dumb. Therefore, he is decreeing himself to be dumb. Okay. So in this paragraph, Neville is asserting the power of human consciousness and the principle of decreeing one's reality into existence. Decreeing something into existence, manifesting into existence. So he's basically answering the question that yes, you are manifesting your world. Yes, you can specifically manifest something and have it come into being, because his answer is an affirmative yes. And he goes on to say that we have always done this. Essentially, we've always been manifesting. We've always been choosing, whether we realize it or not, what appears in our world. And we will continue to do so as long as we are conscious of being in this human body, having this earthly experience. Now, Neville emphasized that everything in a person's reality is a result of their inner convictions, what they have decreed. And these decrees are not made through external words or loud affirmations. Listen to that there. But they are rooted in consciousness. Very important information. Now, he specifically warns against vain repetition. He indicates that repetition of words without true belief or consciousness behind them reinforces the opposite of what one desires. So it almost shows an insecurity, trying to convince yourself of something that isn't within your consciousness, of something that you are not aware of being. He gives an example of the dumb man, basically to illustrate his point even further. That without verbalizing anything, if someone is conscious of being dumb, they are basically decreeing themselves, manifesting themselves to stay this way forever. So this highlights the influence over your own self-concept and inner beliefs on the manifested reality. So your reality will always be a product of your self-concept and inner beliefs. And he suggests that in order to change this, it is essential to change one's consciousness and inner decrees about oneself and the world around you. Change what is inside, and the outside will have to change along with it. It will have to conform to the new you. Okay, so he goes on to saying, when the Bible is read in this light, you will find it to be the greatest scientific book ever written. Instead of looking upon the Bible as the historical record of an ancient civilization or the biography of the unusual life of Jesus, see it as a great psychological drama taking place in the consciousness of man. Claim it as your own, and you will suddenly transform your world from the barren deserts of Egypt to the promised land of Canaan. Now, this is very exciting stuff. Because through this unique perspective on interpreting the Bible, in fact, you may have never thought of the Bible in this way before, and I certainly hadn't, because he's basically referring to it as a psychological and spiritual guide. It is a metaphor for what is happening inside of you, and in doing this, it gives you the greatest knowledge you could ever need in transforming your life. So the reference to the barren deserts of Egypt and the promised land of Canaan is the symbolic journey from a state of limitation, lack, or struggle, Egypt, to a state of abundance, fulfillment, and promise, Canaan. Neville suggests that by claiming the teachings and principles of the Bible as one's own and applying them to transform one's consciousness, one can move from a state of spiritual barrenness to a state of spiritual abundance and realization. So by delving into the symbolic and allegorical aspects of the Bible, that it basically reveals universal truths about human consciousness and spiritual evolution. Neville basically is encouraging you to see the Bible as a roadmap for inner transformation and essentially a guide of manifestation. This will allow you to grab onto the power of your mind and to create a reality better than your wildest dreams of any abundance you wish. A reality that is aligned with your deepest desires and aspirations. Neville went on to say, everyone will agree with the statement that all things were made by God. And without him, there is nothing made that is made. But what man does not agree upon is the identity of God. All the churches and priesthoods of the world disagreed as to the identity and true nature of God. The Bible proves beyond the shadow of a doubt that Moses and the prophets were in 100% accord as to the identity and nature of God. And Jesus' life and teachings are in agreement with the findings of the prophets of old. Moses discovered God to be man's awareness of being when he declared these little understood words, I am hath sent me unto you. David sang in his Psalms, be still and know that I am God. Isaiah declared, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Now, this statement highlights the universal acknowledgement of a higher power, often referred to as God, as the creator of all things. Now, he emphasized that what people often disagree on is understanding the identity of God. So many different religions have different interpretations and beliefs about the nature of God, who he is, and the attributes of God. But there is a common thread. As Neville suggested, Moses, for example, conveyed the concept of God as man's awareness of being through the declaration, I am, hath sent me unto you. This implies that the essence of God is intertwined with human consciousness and self-awareness. David's Psalms further reinforce this idea. Be still and know that I am God, emphasizing the inner knowing and connection with the divine within oneself. Now, Isaiah's declaration, I am the Lord and there is none else. Now, this underscores the uniqueness and omnipresence of God, who encompasses all aspects of creation, including light, darkness, peace, adversity. This perspective portrays God not as an external deity, but as a universal presence within every individual, shaping experiences and their realities. Neville's interpretation highlights the unity in the understanding of God's nature across different spiritual traditions and scriptures, emphasizing the importance of personal awareness and consciousness in realizing the divine essence within oneself. He went on to say, "The awareness of being as God is stated hundreds of times in the New Testament. To name but a few, I am the shepherd, I am the door, I am the resurrection and the life, I am the way, I am the Alpha and Omega, I am the beginning and the end. And again, whom do you say that I am? It is not stated, I, Jesus, am the door. I, Jesus, am the way. Nor is it said, whom do you say that I, Jesus, am? It is clearly stated, I am the way. The awareness of being is the door through which the manifestations of life pass into the world of form." Now, in this passage, Neville's explanation delves into the significance of the phrase, I am, and basically its profound implications regarding one's awareness of being as God. He points out that throughout the New Testament, there are numerous instances where Jesus refers to himself using these I am statements. He also emphasizes the key distinction that lies in the fact that Jesus does not attribute these statements to his personal identity as Jesus, but rather emphasizes the universal principle of I am. By using I am, Jesus is affirming the divine essence within himself and all individuals. This statement transcends personal identity and points to the fundamental truth of being one with God. Now, the phrase I am signifies the awareness of being, which Neville states is the doorway through which manifestations in life occur. So basically, they occur through your awareness of being, that which you seek. I am. It represents the connection that we all have to the divine source. We are all one. We all realize our inherent power and our ability to shape our own reality. By identifying with I am, forming awareness of what you desire to be, you can align yourself with the creative force of the universe, allowing any intention, any desire to manifest in your physical realm. Now, Neville's interpretation highlights the transformative power of recognizing yourself as I am, which echoes the biblical teachings that emphasize the divine nature within each person, and basically the potential to manifest and create in alignment with this awareness of being. Now, Neville goes on to say, consciousness is the resurrecting power, resurrecting that which man is conscious of being. Man is ever outpicturing that which he is conscious of being. This is the truth that makes man free, for man is always self-imprisoned or self-freed. Now, this statement about consciousness being the resurrecting power reflects the idea that our awareness or state of consciousness is the driving force behind manifestations and all experiences we have in life. He states that whatever we are consciously aware of being, whether positive or negative, is what we bring forth into our life. Basically, we resurrect in our reality. Neville states that our consciousness shapes our external reality by outpicturing what we are internally conscious of being. In more basic terms, this means that our thoughts, beliefs, and self-perception are mirrored in our external circumstances and experiences. So if we hold on to negative beliefs or limitations about ourselves, we will manifest situations that are in harmony with those beliefs. If we embrace positive beliefs about ourselves, we will attract corresponding positive experiences into our lives. It's always a mirror. Now, this concept of consciousness as the resurrecting power implies that we have the ability to transform our lives into anything simply by shifting consciousness. And we do this simply by becoming aware of our thoughts, beliefs, and self-perception. And if we are to consciously shift them towards more empowering and positive states, This shift in consciousness then will lead to the resurrection of the manifestation of new, desired experiences and outcomes. It's basic cause and effect. There's no magic to it, there's no mystery to it. It's simple cause and effect. Neville also touches on the idea of personal freedom within this context, which is very exciting, because he suggests that recognizing the truth about consciousness and its creative power is what will liberate you from your self-imposed limitations and negative patterns. So when you understand that you have the ability to shape your reality through your consciousness, you will become so empowered that you will break free from old paradigms and create the life you were always meant to live. And that is the point of these discussions, is to liberate you, to take hold of your destiny and to shape it into exactly what you desire. Neville continues, if you, the reader, will give up all your former beliefs in God apart from yourself and claim God as your awareness of being, as Jesus and the prophets did, you will transform your world with the realization that I and my Father are one. This statement, I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I, seems very confusing. But if you interpret it in the light of what we have just said concerning the identity of God, you will find it very revealing. Consciousness, being God, is as Father. The thing that you are conscious of being is the Son bearing witness of his Father. It is like the conceiver and its conceptions. The conceiver is ever greater than his conceptions, yet remains one with his conception. For instance, before you are conscious of being man, you are first conscious of being. Then you become conscious of being man. Yet you remain conceiver, greater than your conception, man. Now this explanation delves into the profound concept of the relationship between God consciousness and self-awareness. Neville is urging you to let go of traditional beliefs that perceive God as an external entity separate from yourself. He's basically telling you to embrace the idea that God is not an external being, but rather your own awareness of being. Now he draws parallels to the teachings of Jesus and the prophets, and he emphasizes the notion of oneness with God. This statement, I and my Father are one, reflects the understanding that our consciousness or awareness of being is inseparable from the divine source. The apparent hierarchy expressed in my Father is greater than I can be interpreted in the context of consciousness, where the awareness of being, Father, is the primary creative force and our individualized experiences, Son, are manifestations of that awareness. Now, by identifying with God as your awareness of being, you can tap into the creative power of consciousness. Now, Neville uses the great analogy of a conceiver and its conceptions to illustrate this relationship. Neville's explanation encourages you to recognize your inherent unity with the creative power of consciousness or God. By understanding that your awareness shapes your reality, you can consciously align your thoughts, beliefs, and self-perception with desired outcomes, and you will, in fact, transform your world. Neville continues on to say, Jesus discovered this glorious truth and declared himself to be one with God, not a God that man had fashioned, for he never recognized such a God. He said, if any man should ever come, saying, look here or look there, believe them not, for the kingdom of God is within you. Heaven is within you. Therefore, when it is recorded that he went unto his Father, it is telling you that he rose in consciousness to the point where he was just conscious of being, thus transcending the limitations of his present conception of himself, called Jesus. Now, this explanation highlights the profound understanding that Jesus had regarding his oneness with God and the nature of divine consciousness. According to Neville, Jesus did not perceive himself as a deity separate from humanity or as a God created by human interpretation. Instead, Jesus recognized the inherent truth that God, or divine consciousness, resides within every individual. Now, the statement, "If any man should ever come saying, 'Look here' or 'Look there,' believe them not, for the kingdom of God is within you." It reflects Jesus' teachings that the true essence of God and spiritual fulfillment is not found in external places or rituals, but within the depths of one's own consciousness. This idea emphasizes the internal journey of self-realization and awakening to the divine presence within you. When it is mentioned that he went unto his Father, Neville interprets this as Jesus ascending to a higher level of consciousness, where he fully realized his unity with God. This ascent represents a transcending of the limitations of his human identity as Jesus, and a recognition of his divine nature as one with God. In this context, Father symbolizes the higher divine consciousness that Jesus embodied and embraced. Now, when he says, "Heaven is within you," it further reinforces the idea that spiritual fulfillment and divine connection are not external rewards, but intrinsic qualities of one's own consciousness. And by acknowledging this, you can experience a profound shift in awareness and perspective, and you can transcend earthly limitations by realizing your divine potential. Now, we will continue with part 2 in the next podcast lecture, but in closing, I do want to say that At Your Command offers profound insights into the nature of consciousness, manifestation, and spiritual empowerment. And it really serves as a timeless guide for people who are seeking to unlock their creative potential and transform their reality. It is one of the greatest manifestation guides ever written. Its universal principles and practical techniques give you everything you need to know about self-discovery, empowerment, and spiritual growth. Because as you delve deep into the depths of your consciousness and embrace it as the truth of your creative abilities, you will embark on a journey of personal transformation and fulfillment. You will realize that you are indeed the architect of your own destiny, and that nothing is impossible. So look forward to the next episode of this analysis. In the meantime, do check out that link below to read the entire book yourself. And do check out my other podcast episode on Neville Goddard's Law of Identical Harvest, which basically is a lecture that essentially proves that you have the ability to bring any wish you desire into your reality, just with a simple shift in consciousness by planting the seed. Now let us go into the silence.